and Carl.
Okay, are we recording yet?
Not yet. It's booting up.
Dan is going to call in.
Just forget it.
Okay.
Okay, are you able to see the screen first of all?
Yes.
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 Okay, so we are recording. I'm all set. Please proceed.
Do you have anything, Tim, to start off with?
No.
Okay, Gary, why don't you pick it up then?
I thought Phil's on. I thought Phil's going to do it.
Oh, is Phil there? Yeah, he did. He just came on. Okay. Phil, can you share the public safety?
Sure, I'd be glad to.
All right,
Call the
sir.
public meeting, Public Safety Committee meeting to order. Mr. Kennedy.
Morning.
Morning, Bill.
I have a couple resolutions. The first one is for the 2017 statewide interoperable communication grant to extend the period to December of 2021, December 31st. This is some of the funding we're using for the tower site. And since we didn't get into construction last year, the state has already okayed the extension, but we need to do it in a resolution on our end.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Any discussion? Second, all in favor, aye.
All right.
Aye.
The second resolution is really the same thing. It's the 2018 statewide interoperability communication grant. Also using the funding towards that tower site. Also extending that to the end of 2021, and the state has already approved it on their end.
Have a motion?
Gray will make the motion.
Second it.
All in favor, aye.
All right.
Third item that I need action on would be a motion to renew a contract with Environmental Emergency Services, EES, that we're part of the Tri-County Environmental Services Group, flood warning and hazardous material CHIT team. It's a 3-county thing. It's a contract for $3,000. It's no change from last year or previous years.
Do I have a motion?
Gray will make the motion.
Have a second?
Gray.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye.
All right.
And the only other things that is just information, most of it's on my report. Other than keep the reef blue, I had posted when I did this Wednesday that we had 2 red bulbs, but as of this morning, we have 4. We had 2 more structure fires since last Wednesday. Up in Hector was 1 and Odessa was 1. So we're at 4 red bulbs, structure fires since the day after Thanksgiving, and that fire prevention program runs through the end of the year. Hopefully that's it, but that's where we're at. The rest is the information, what we've been up to, keeping busy with meetings, working with the hospital and public health on vaccination planning. That's the biggest item we got going on right now. It's all I have.
Bill, can you give any update on the vaccination planning, or is it too soon to provide any details?
I don't have a lot of details yet. I know actually have a call tomorrow with the regional hospital system that's is our contact for this. Our committee's been meeting since September to plan, so we've got some stuff ahead of the curve as far as planning who and when, or not so much when, but until we get a little more details when we're going to see vaccine and how much. Can't go in great details on the plans, but it's still, the plan is to hit the hospital care workers first, nursing homes, and then first responders, and then down the list as we're being given guidance.
Thanks.
Anything else for Bill? Thanks a lot, Bill. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and happy holidays to all of you.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. Have a good holiday.
Mr. Rowe.
Morning, everybody.
Morning, sir.
The first matter I have is a resolution to extend one of our oils contracts. This is one that pays for Fred's salary. We're just trying to maximize that, the funding in that contract out and exhaust that before we have the next one.
Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
And a second?
Gray,
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
All right.
Okay. And the second matter I have is to authorize and renew a contract with our investigator. It's the same as last year, but the provisions in the settlement require a raise of $1,500 a year, which is in this contract and fully funded by oils.
That's still working out good for you? He's doing a good job by you?
Yeah, he's very, yes. And, you know, I'm entertaining, thinking about something else, but there's a clause in there that allows 30 days notice. So he's been with us for some time, and whenever we need something, he's very responsive. So
Good. Have a motion?
Gray will make the motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor, aye.
All
Aye.
right.
Anything else for Wes?
Phil, the only other thing that I should make everybody aware of, we're awaiting a contract from Tompkins County. We need a new one for 2021 for our assigned counsel program. I did get some feedback this weekend or Friday from them, so I expect a final proposal to be sent to us. But as soon as that gets here, I will pass it on to Steve and then this body as well. But I was hoping to have it some time ago, but I expect we'll see something soon. That's to continue our relationship with Tompkins County and the assigned counsel program.
Hey, Jay.
Yes, he called me 4 times. He says it's not routine. He just doesn't know what he's doing.
Hell with it.
Yeah.
You get rid of
As a
that.
reminder, if you're not speaking, mute your line.
So unless there's any other questions, that's the information I have as of now.
Very good. Thanks, Wes, and Merry Christmas to you and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thanks, Wes. Appreciate it. Merry Christmas.
Did I happen to see the district attorney's face? He's got more hair on his face than he does on his head.
Yes, it's my winter beard, Phil.
Wow, look at you. Welcome, sir.
How are you? So I really don't have anything to, I'm not asking for anything for once. I just provided a year-end report that's not really at the end of the year, but for our purposes, it's close enough given the fact that courts are pretty much shut down at the moment. So we can't do grand jury. We can't go to court other than, well, I guess we're done with court for the year. Most of our town judges and village justices are adjourning cases until February, handling only urgent matters and cases where
Crap. Your phone, they can see your phone on there? Yeah.
I don't know if Jim realizes that's you. What's your landline number?
Should I wait?
No. Just
So I'll see if I can.
continue, Joe.
I don't know if-
Okay. Well, in any event, so far this year, which I suspect this will be our final number, we are at 70 indictments and Superior Court information. So that's 70 county court files. That actually, believe it or not, with the pandemic and several months of being shut down, is right about our average for most of the years that I've kept statistics in. I suspect we would have been higher because I've got about 12 cases waiting to go to grand jury, but I can't do that without asking permission of Judge Hayden, and then he has to get permission from the chief administrative judge in Binghamton. So we would probably be in the low 80s this year, which would be pretty significant. That's a high number for us. Ordinarily, we're right about 65 or 70. Last year, we were only 40, so we are significantly higher this year. That means that the more serious crimes are up, But other than that, I'll gladly answer any questions that you have. I did mention that we have a unsolved possible homicide. We're not convinced of that, but the medical examiner is. So we are, still working on it, but it's quickly becoming a cold case. So does anybody have any questions about what I've presented to you, or?
So is there any particular category of those substantial crimes that seems to be up this year?
Yeah, you know what's domestic violence. Domestic violence has been significant this year. A lot of criminal contempt cases and a lot of aggravated family offense cases. So yeah, those would be up. I think our drug cases are about where they usually are. Not a lot of DWIs or aggravated unlicensed. So I would say that the most significant increase would be the domestic violence.
Absolutely makes sense. Given
Makes sense,
the
right?
year. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, it does.
All right, anything else for Joe? If not, happy holidays to you and your family, Joe.
Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas, Joe. Have a good
Thank
one.
you, Joe. Have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
The Honorable William Yesman.
Good morning. The one thing I wanted to make you all aware of was a correspondence I got from the Commissioner of Corrections on our COVID-19 protocols, which reflects on Jim Perry, the jail administrator, and the job he's doing there, and the staff that we've consistent with the guidelines by the Commission, Department of Health, and the CDC. So I just wanted to make you aware of the job he does there, and sometimes it's all goes unsung there.
A very nice letter. Good job.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like the equivalent of a clean audit. So great.
And we got notification from them late last week that their cycle evaluation they do every year is going to be virtual this year. So I think Jim Perry sent them everything they need so far. So that should end up the same way as this. I don't see any issues with it. The other thing I wanted to discuss was our police reform initiative. We have our committee formed. I believe it's formed. And January 6th will be our first stakeholder meeting at 1:00 in the afternoon. We're moving forward on that. I'm working with Kristen Van Horn on a PowerPoint presentation. And I think we're being in good shape. The survey results came back. They were overwhelmingly positive on our end. The big thing was that they look at training and communication was the two big things that stood out on it so far. So that's what we'll focus on. We've already reviewing our policies and procedures. We've created some new policies on racial profiling, bias. We've updated our use of force policy that includes a ban on chokeholds unless that's the last resort and there's no other alternative. So we're moving forward on all that. The public meeting will be on the 12th of January at 6:00 at night, and that'll be a virtual meeting.
Okay, anything else for the sheriff?
Yeah, Sheriff, who are the are the legislature reps on that committee?
There's two that I think Carl is appointing.
Okay. So they haven't been named yet. Okay, thank you.
Everything I see, it says to be determined. So, but other than that, we have some nonprofit representatives. We have the religious representative on it. We have some other people on it, mostly department heads from the county.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Bill. To follow on with that question of legislative representation, I have said I'll be on it. That leaves the salon open. Just talk to me real quick if you're interested, and we'll put whoever I hear from on there.
This is Michael.
I'd recommend Gary Gray because of his experience and background.
I'd be interested in being on it.
Okay, let's not drag this meeting out. We'll talk after the meeting is over.
And while there will be, I guess, for the record, 2 legislative representatives, that doesn't preclude any legislator from participating in the process. They will, in fact, the legislature will be the body that receives the report ultimately as well. But everything that is, whether it's committee meetings or public meetings, the legislature will have the invitations to those as well. So,
Good. Thanks, Tim.
Anything else for me?
Just Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
I'll just add on the Commission of Corrections side, it was on a NISAC call last week, and they, the main purpose of the call was to lament the loss of the federal aid, at least at this juncture. But on the bright side, they did note that in conversations with New York State, it does appear that the relaxation of staffing levels on the correction side is imminent, and they're predicting that as a will happen early in 2021. Sheriff, I don't know if you've heard of anything like that, but they will not be leaving it, or predicted to be leaving it to local discretion with relaxed standards, so you can have staffing that suits your facility as opposed to a one-size-fits-all approach on that. That was what I got just last Thursday. So
I have not heard that, and I missed the sheriff's conference call late Thursday afternoon. I wasn't able to participate in that, so but I haven't heard that in any other calls, but I'm sure it'll come up in our next call.
All right. Yeah. So just to put it on the radar, and obviously that will impact our staffing decisions moving forward, even if it's an attrition-based approach. So if in fact it happens, so.
I can tell you our population this morning, we're in the process of taking a female to state prison that we had boarded out. So that was our only board out. And I've got 5 inmates in the facility this morning. With that, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Bill.
Chris? You there?
All right. Good morning. I've got good news this morning. So on my agenda officially is discussion for social host law. Those of you that are familiar with SCUD, the Schuyler County Coalition on Underage Drinking and Drugs, we've been looking at a social host law for 10 or 12 years. We're gaining traction this time around. We've looked at it a few times in the past. I just wanted to make the legislature aware that this is something that we're working on. County attorney is looking at it. We actually had a meeting last week with the county attorney, district attorney, and then Stu Ben's equivalent of their coalition. I think basically in a nutshell, social host law is if you're caught hosting a party, underage drinking party, you can be charged with a specific crime related to it. I support it personally. We just have never gained traction before, and I think now we're getting some, so it's probably something that this body will see in the future coming through to pass, or to review to pass anyway. Any questions on that?
Aren't there already laws in place that
everyone thinks that there already are, but there are not specific to actually hosting underage parties. The DA could speak to it tomorrow if he's on, but generally people are charged with endangering the welfare of a child, or there's other charges that are general charges, but those would cover those circumstances. And a lot of times the social host law starts off as a violation, of course, moves to a misdemeanor, and then can rise to a felony if there's repeated offenses. But it starts off pretty minor with fines and things, but it is specific to that behavior and action. So,
Mark, in
question.
the past, we've also charged the person holding the party if it's at a specific location, a home, a garage, somewhere like that, with criminal nuisance.
Yep, that's one of them. There's a handful of charges. The social host is just a specific worded offense that designates that crime. And a lot of the ones that are charged now are just general. They could mean a lot of different things, but one of the positives I see coming out of a social host law is it draws a line in the sand. A lot of people think there already are these laws that exist, but basically they're passed locally. They're not across the board. So I think it draws that line. It sends a message and really gives organizations like SCUD in the county and a platform to stand on and say, we're not going to tolerate this. We're not going to let this happen. So just a heads up that that's something that we're working on currently. Any questions on? Oh, Phil, are you talking? You're muted, I think.
Yeah, just a minute. Anything else for Chris?
I actually have two other things. I got these in late last week, so they didn't make it on the agenda. I'll keep it short, but we actually have our state aid. Our regular state aid was approved at the full amount, so that's good news. 43,000 and some change. And then I also received our Raise the Age plan, I think Thursday or Friday last week, and it looks like they're going to let us apply for the full amount, which will be about $20,000. So knock on wood. Yeah, knock on wood on both of those.
Good.
That's all I had.
Anything else for Chris?
Chris, it's Gary Gray. Have you talked to any of the judges and got their views on the host law? I mean, are they...
I think the few times we tried before, we had a few judges give us input, but recently, no, we have not. But that is a good idea. We can reach out to the local magistrates and have them give us some input. I can also talk with the county court judge and see what he has to say. But I think that's a good idea.
I mean, my only concern is the constant reduction that comes down from the judges on the initial arrest and the initial charges. That's all.
Yeah, we see that. We see that a lot.
Yes, you do.
But I think this would. I mean, this will. In the long run, in repeated offenses, of course, it's going to go up. But this basically puts that out there. I mean, this is something that specifically says you can't do this, and everyone thinks that on the books, and that they're not. So it's something that we can put out there that we can stand on and basically, project into the community. But yeah, I can reach out to the courts.
Thanks.
Anything else? Sheriff, I just want to introduce you to the latest canine in the county. We've gone from 90-pound shepherds to 20-pound pugs.
It won't be 20 pounds long.
Just like the owner.
Very nice.
Walked into that one, didn't I? All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second.
Anybody that's not attending the next meeting, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much, Phil, for taking over. Sorry about the short notice.
Yeah, not a problem.
Have a good Christmas. Okay, Jim, you ready?
I am. Kenny, are you there?
I am. Good morning, everyone.
Very good. Thank you. All right, Kenny, we'll start right off with buildings and grounds, resolution A.
Yeah, I have one resolution, a handful of contract renewals this morning. First one, item A, is a resolution authorized contract amendment with Hunt Engineers and Architects and Land Surveyors for engineering services for the county courtroom renovations. Buildings and grounds, see attached.
All right, do we have a motion
I'll make the motion.
and a second?
Carl,
Pardon me?
I said, Carl, it's you and I.
Yeah, I guess I'm still on here. I'm sorry. I thought I'd gotten relieved from duty, but I'll second it.
Questions? Kenny, I have one, on the, when it's identifying the itemized list. Of course, we had talked about the windows. So the windows, I don't remember the details of the conversation last year. The windows were found to be acceptable and they're out of the equation.
They are, no, what we've done, we're going to the point right now where we're ready to go out to bid. But with everything that happened with the courts not having the funding, we've stopped everything on this project. Originally, this project was it was basically to get the courtroom up to date with ADA compliance and just some minor renovations. Once we got looking at it with all parties from the courts, the judges, and everybody, they added to it. So they added the bathroom downstairs to be redone, the windows. So there was an increase in for Hunt to do the extra work, and that's what this is about.
Okay, and the only other question I said in the the last sentence in the third whereas says as required to address the courts and the newly elected judges' concerns. Can you specify what our new judges' concerns are?
There wasn't actually that much of concerns for him. The courts were making all the decisions. He had input, but basically, then the DA also had input. But the courts from Binghamton are the ones that are calling the shots, basically, what they want. They're the ones paying, so they're calling the shots.
All right, but are our judges content with the scope of work?
Correct, yes.
Okay, very good. All right, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, I've got a couple of corrections in that same paragraph. So in the third whereas, on the third line, I would just strike hereinafter. Number one, it's not an actual word. Hereafter, herein are words, but hereinafter is not. But it also is not necessary there. So it's just as advised. And in the talking about the windows, it says which have since been identified as acceptable, and that sounds like it's referring to the windows as acceptable. I would just put replace acceptable with replaceable.
That's why I raised that concern about the windows, because it sounded like the windows are acceptable and not going to be changed out.
But this is saying they will be changed, correct, Ken?
Correct.
Right, now that Ken's explained it, yes.
I'll review the resolution with the county attorney. I think he actually took that from the language of the contract
Okay.
or the quote. He wrote this resolution pretty much 90%. So.
Are you content with that, Mark?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't see why replaceable wouldn't work, though. I mean, that is more accurate, so.
Yes. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
We do have a motion in a second, so all in favor, on board, aye. Opposed, of course, no. Move on to motion B.
Motion B is a renewed contract with Child Care Aware, it's to Ben Schuyler. This is for Pro Action for their sublease of 2 cubicles in the common areas and shared waiting room in room 128 at the HSC building. Annual cost of $7,150 with an increase of $2,150 from 2020.
A motion
I'll make the motion.
and a second.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
C.
Okay, Z, motion to renew contract with Empire Natural Gas Corporation for natural gas supply, monthly price base of NYMEX last day settlement price of $1.103, an increase from 2020 from 69.7 cents a DT for the 2021 season.
We have a motion
I'll make the motion.
and a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Just a quick question. When's the
yes, sir,
last
Mark.
time that was actually evaluated to see whether that was a good market rate?
It wasn't done this year. I know that. I can look into that. I didn't even know this was gonna be on here this month, to be honest with you. I thought it'd be actually next month.
Okay, but it would be good to review it periodically.
Definitely. Yep, I was thinking the same thing. So.
Very good. Thanks for raising that issue, Mark. Motion D.
Item D is a motion to renew contract with OR for lease room B120, annual cost of $4,800. That'd be the same cost as 2020.
We have a motion.
Make it.
Mr. Barnes, second. Mr. Blowers.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Okay, item E is motion to renew contract Schuyler County Social Services for lease space in HSC at a cost of $268 annually, the same cost as 2020 for the year of 2021.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Jim, if I may interrupt,
Yes.
I've got to go. I have an appointment that has come up this morning. If you just give me 2 minutes, I'm going to save my minutes document. Jamie's going to open it up and she'll take over the rest of the meeting.
Have her let me know when she's situated.
Okay.
Thank you, Stacy.
Yep. Okay. Jamie, I'm out of the minutes document. If you can open it up and unmute and let us know when you're on, and then I'll leave.
Carl, I'm on it on my phone, but Tim needs to unmute me because I'm not audio on the computer.
Well, come on in here.
Jamie may just have to be not vocal during the meeting and take the minutes because she has to use the computer because I'm at home with the laptop.
Let me know when she's ready.
I don't show her as muted.
Me neither.
Better ring doorbell.
Santa Claus came early. Brought a dog to Mr. Barnes. Where'd you get the dog from, Phil?
Antelope, town of Hector.
Oh,
Yep. No, very, very nice. Jim,
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, sir.
yes, here you find, Van.
Okay, guys, I'm going to drop off. So I got another meeting coming up and I'm not on this committee. So
go in there and just tell them.
Okay, Mark, we'll see you tomorrow morning.
yeah, anybody I don't see tomorrow, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mark.
Okay, Jamie, it looks like she joined us via audio. But still,
Yeah, Jamie, Jamie's got audio, so let's just go ahead, Jim, in the meeting and she can hear you.
All right.
Relay any questions you have.
Okay, we're up to motion F. Kenny?
Yes, motion F, motion to renew Schuyler County Department of Social Service sublease with Glove House at a cost of $7,423.50. That's an annual increase of $153.50 from 2020 for the term of 2021.
We have a motion
I'll make the motion.
and a second. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. G.
G is a motion to renew contract with Schuyler County Office for the Aging for lease space in HSC at a cost of $70,681.50 annually to the Office for the Aging. This is an increase of $845.50 from 2020, and this is for the term of 2021.
Have a motion
I'll make the motion.
Second. Tim, was there any increase in the per square foot rental in the human services building going into 21?
There is for the tenants that are directly with the LDC. It's a 25% per square foot lease per year. These are subleases we have in internal leases that we charge ourselves. So.
All in favor? Aye. Motion H. Motion H.
All right, last motion is to renew contract with Schuyler County Public Defender for space in the courthouse building at a cost of $12,000 annually to the Schuyler County Public Defender. This is the same cost as 2020 for the term of January 2021 to December 31st, 2021.
Have a motion?
I'll make it.
And a second? Mr. Blowers?
Okay, I'll second it.
Molly? Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's my German Shepherd going off in the background. Weighs 4 pounds. All right, Kenny, your highway. I see no action. Molly, come here. Kenny, I was out on the roads the day after the storm and everything was clear.
Yeah, we were fortunate.
County Road 21 and 16 and 23, I was traveling and all were in great shape the day after. Very good job.
Thank you. Well, at least we were spared, unlike Binghamton and some of the counties south of us. So we got lucky on that one.
Yesterday seemed like you had a breakdown.
Yeah, we had Sunday. Actually, we lost down 2 trucks today. We got one. We're just down 1 right now. We got to fix a gearbox on a spreader. The other 2 we got back up and running. But yeah, it was just one of those days where everything runs great in shop until it's time to snow and then it goes out and that's when it breaks. So, but we're up and good. We're all set. Get ready for Christmas storm by the looks. So we'll see.
Sounds that way. And no report from weights and measures. So any other issues anyone wants to raise prior to adjournment? If not, we'll call for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.